I'm watching the post game yesterday on SNY. You seem like you were seething, Coach. How angry were you, and is this the angriest that you've been in the 10 games you've coached?
No, I've been angry before, and I've been angry over some wins. I've angry over some losses because I thought we had some chances at the end to win that ball game, and we didn't execute the right way, and we didn't close it out and finish, which is what we were talking about before the game.
Now, finishing's been a problem, but also starting, Coach, has been a problem. Why do you think this team gets off to slow starts?
That's a good question. That's something we got to figure out as coaches, and we got to start faster because we can't fall behind in double-digit leagues before we start making progress in the fourth quarter and trying to make a game of it. I mean, we got to start faster. There's no reason we can't start faster.
Coach, you mentioned yesterday on the post game, execute. You mentioned it again in your first answer here. This is not an easy question to ask, but when teams don't execute, sometimes they're not good enough. Have you just even considered, hey, maybe my guys aren't good enough? If you can't execute on a continuous basis, that must be a manifestation of something.
No, because the things we called, we have executed earlier in the game, and we've executed before. So it's just a matter of concentration and time, and when we can't execute at the end, we got to be mentally tougher than we are in the beginning of the game, at the end of the game. So we got to be mentally tougher.
Also running the ball, not doing it as successfully as you did early in the season. How much of that is defenses adjusting to it, and how much has it done with Mangold and Colon being banged up and injured?
I mean, a lot of it is defenses adjusting to it, but at the same time, we got to do other things to try to open that running game up, either change up what we're doing or either throw the ball a little more, and that's a coaching thing that we got to get figured out.
Now, have you had to change anything when Winters and Johnson are in there as opposed to Mangold and Colon, or do you do the same thing and expect those guys to do the same thing?
I mean, you expect those guys to do the same thing. Obviously, they're different type of players, but they're still worthy of being good football players, and they are good football players. So we just go on about our business.
Coach, we thought coming into the season that the Jet defense was going to be the strength of the team, and it probably still is. And you come here as a defensive expert. While it hasn't been a bad defense, it certainly hasn't been awesome. Are you disappointed in the way your defense has played?
To the point, I don't think we reached what we wanted to do or even close to it. I think we play well at spurts, and then we give up a big play here and there that shuts everything else down and just erases anything good that we've ever done. We got to cut out the explosive plays.
How about, it seems like an inability to get to the quarterback. Does that surprise you?
Not in this game. I mean, I thought they max protected pretty good. They brought everybody in, extra lineman, extra tight end, and they kept everybody in on purpose to get to the quarterback. And for the most part, we covered them. I thought we gave up 3 plays that we'd like to have back.
Now, with less than 3 minutes to go, 2 timeouts, and the 2-minute warning from your own 46, you went for it on 4th and 5. Is that a lack of your defense? Do you lack faith that they can come up with a stop for you there and punt the ball away?
No, not at all. I mean, I don't think that was a factor in the game because we got the ball back at 2:10, and it was about a 20, 25-yard difference, so it wasn't a factor in the game. We had another shot at it, and we had a pretty good time on the clock.
It worked out that way because the defender made a foolish interception and cost his team about 30 yards. But why did you go for it on 4th down and not punt it?
It was 4th and 5. Had we punted, we'd have used both our timeouts real early, and it would have been late getting the ball back. I think it would have only been a difference of 20, 25 yards. The big thing is we got the ball close to midfield when we had 1st and 10, and we had a chance to go in and do some things and win the game. We didn't execute. Then we got it back with 2:10, and we threw another interception.
Are you starting to lose faith that they can convert on these 4th downs because it was a problem against Buffalo and a problem yesterday?
Well, you don't lose faith in them, but when you have to win the ball game, you go for it on 4th down. We just got to do a better job executing.
Now, Coach, after the game yesterday, somebody asked you about Fitzpatrick, and you said, we'll make the decision tomorrow, and you didn't give a yes or a no. Today you said that he is your starting quarterback against the Dolphins. Was there any consideration of going to Geno?
No, not at all. For me, after a game, as always, I have to look at the film, and we evaluate the quarterbacks like we evaluate everybody else. We discuss everybody as far as who's going to start that next week. It's not just the quarterback position.
Now, Fitzpatrick,
Go ahead, sir.
He did not play well. I mean, he would admit that as well. What do you think was wrong with him? I mean, he did have a couple of drops that would have changed the tone of his performance, but the 2 interceptions, 19 of 39, I guess he's got to be better than that.
Yeah, he's got to be a lot better than that, and he knows that. I don't think we played well as an offense. It wasn't just Fitzpatrick. I mean, I thought all 11 guys could have played a lot better.
You lose faith in Smith because of those drops?
No, I think he's got to grow up a little more, and he's got to attack the ball like he did in college. I think he's playing faster, and he's a rookie, and you give him a learning curve, but that learning curve's got to be sped up.
A team that was 4-1, coach, now has gone 1-4 in the last 5 games. Is your team, I mean, you could sense it better than anybody because you're in that room. Do you think they're losing faith in themselves?
No, they're not losing faith in themselves. We weren't overconfident at 4-1. We knew we had a long way to go, and 1-4, we still know we had a long way to go. But same way we won the first 4 out of 5, and then lost the next 4 out of 5. We got to turn this thing around, and it's how we finish that'll determine how good we'll be.
I think for me, Coach, because you've had injuries on the offensive side of the ball, and your offense is what it is. But this defense was supposed to be special. I thought this could be a top 5 defense, pressure the quarterback, shut down corners. I mean, how disappointed are you at the level of their play 10 weeks into the season?
You're not disappointed at the level of play. You're disappointed at certain plays that happen within the scheme of the defense that you want to have back. But from an overall standpoint, they play hard. Like I said, I think it's too many explosive plays here and there that we got to cut out.
You guys cut Quentin Coples today. What went wrong there? A former number 1 draft pick.
Well, nothing was wrong. It was hard to get him playing time. With the addition of Leonard, we had more inside guys. Q was probably a better inside player than he is an outside player, in our opinion. And there was just no room to find time to play him. And we may be looking at some things going forward. And so we just made the decision today.
Is it hard to make a decision like that for a former number 1 draft pick, although it's not this administration's pick? But the organization's invested a lot in Coples. Was it a tough cut?
It's always a tough cut anytime we cut anybody, but at this stage of the game, with us trying to be a better team going forward, not just from week to week, it was something that had to be done.
You're in a tough spot. I mean, this is a team that's at a crisis point, right? I mean, losing 4 of 5 games. I mean, you're a rookie head coach. I know you were an interim at Miami, but this is your first chance to be a head coach. I mean, who do you lean on? Who do you look at to try to turn this thing around as it starts to crumble around you?
Well, we don't look at it as crumbling around us. We're looking at it as we got to play better, and it's not. There are a lot more crisis, real-life things than losing a football game. But we lost 4 out of the last 5, and we got to try to turn this thing around. We have coaches on the staff that's been there before and understand how to play this game and how to coach this game. So we'll be fine. We just got to get the few kinks out, and we got to turn some things around.
Do you think you have to coach better?
Well, I always got to coach better when we lose. I mean, I look at myself first, and then before I even look at the team, I look at myself, then I look at the coaches, then I look at the players. So every time we lose a game, I look at myself. I know I have to coach better. So that's standard. When I win, I know I have to coach better. And it's going to be some decisions being made, and some I'll regret, and some I won't.
Darrelle Revis left the game with a concussion. What's his prognosis for this weekend?
He's still going through protocols. Too early to tell right now. We'll see as it goes forward. Generally, when you get a concussion, sometimes it lasts a week or 2. Sometimes it goes longer than that or shorter than that. So we'll see how it progresses.
How about Mangold?
He's got the lacerations in his hand. He's got about 7 stitches. It's going to be a matter of comfort whether he can snap the ball or not. So as practice goes this week, we'll see what he can do.
Are you amazed by how different the offense is when Mangold's not in there? I mean, did you realize how important he was to this?
Well, we knew how important he was going in. Anytime you lose a starter of that caliber, you're going to have a slight drop-off. But West fought his butt off, and he played some things. I don't think that was a detriment to us losing the ball game.
Now, to your credit, Coach, you come on with us after every game, every Monday usually, and at 4-1, you were not too high. I mean, you made it a point to say, hey, listen, there's a lot of football left. But does 1-4 in the last 5 games, does it surprise you? Did you expect this in the least, that this could happen to this team?
You never expect to lose, and so that's a different deal within itself. It doesn't surprise you if you've been in the league long enough, but at the same time, you got to move on and get better for the next game. So, I think we are where we are right now at 5-5, and we just have to get better the last 6 games.
Do you pay attention at all to what's going on in the wild card? Because now there are 4 teams in front of you. I mean, do you get worried about that, or is it just, hey, I've got to concentrate on the 6 games we have left?
We got to concentrate on 6 games we have left. Like I said, we lost 4 out of 5. We got to win 1, and we got to take the next one after that, and 1 after that. And whatever happens at the end happens.
How big is this game Sunday then, just in terms of mindset for you and your team?
Well, the mindset is big, just getting back on the winning track, and the fact that this division game is also big, and we got to defend our home turf, and it's big as far as us correcting the mistakes that we made last week.